Howdy folks, this is Trader Big T with your trading lesson of today, where we will be discussing live calls made in the Tim Alerts chat room. When you make plays, try to base your play on some known set of market forces. In technical analysis, this could be a support or resistance line. You can see in this chart of SIGX, Star Scientific, that there is some resistance here, right, close to this $3 level, right at the top where I'm clicking here. And we go to this chart of today, this is 4610, you will see that this stock, SIGX, tried to test that level. And right here we actually got a little bit above. It was 302 as that top high. And then it failed at that level, so that still served as resistance. Later on, it made another rally towards that same $3 level, and it failed once again at 305, I believe it was. So it actually got a little higher here, but didn't last much longer. It's a rough area of resistance. Now, you should make sure that you're looking for these things when you make your plays. It's essential that you not trade discretionarily. Okay, let's take a look at some of the plays, and there were actually a few amazing things that happened today. One was ECPN, and this was just an immediate fade right from the gun here. We got a negative signal here, and it just started fading immediately. Let's actually pull up a two-day chart. And let's see what the close, right here where I'd be clicking right here, would be the close, would be 60 cents. And the stock opened at 63 cents, so it was green, gapped up slightly, and it quickly fell negative. So it went for what might be called green to red, and then that was your signal right here to go short, because if you actually looked at this, ECPN, you'll see this huge run up here. So once you got that, you opened above, it gapped above, but once it fell, there's the close on this little hammer here. There's a little, not hammer, candlestick here. And once it fell below that, there was your signal, and you had a short. Kind of a cheap stock, so it would have been a little bit hard to short, but basically, there's a classic play here. Okay. EMAN. This was just an incredible play today. Incredible setup, fantastic risk reward. Just absolutely beautiful, and I really wanted to take a look at this stock for a couple of reasons here. This is a two-day, I think, and I think we have a close here. It's like 1555. Close was 512. 512. Now let's look at the one-day chart. Current day, one-day chart, and you can see here's 9:30 in the east. What you can actually see is this 514 level, just 2 cents above the previous close, which is a very important marker. This moved up a little bit, and then it fell down, and it established that 514 as support. 514 was touched here, and then finally touched again right here. We got down to that 514 area right here on this stick right here, the green stick right here, and it looked like it was holding again. So it basically triple bottomed in effect. And it looked like it was going to go up, but then just a few minutes later it smashed through, and you can see this volume really increased. And by this stick it was just massive. It just smashed right through that 514 level and very quickly took out 512 and the previous close, and that was an absolute signal for you to short this stock, because this stock has been up a number of days. It is a play that's a little bit overrated in terms of its real worth fundamentally, and it is really well due to fall here. Here it goes. All these several sticks up, and then once we had that fade, that huge collapse actually below that intraday support of 514, and then taking out the previous close of 512, you had a great short. Okay, and finally ZANE. This actually brings up an interesting point. ZANE, you could have called this, based on some news that was released today, actually a potential long play, and a few people actually went long here, and then, as you can see, some unforeseen news came after hours, and it plunged, what was it, like 20-some% or something, after hours, completely unanticipated when most of the players were playing for a gap up. They were playing to take profits early based on this long. This was actually previously had been considered a great short, but it just shows that you can't predict everything in trading, and sometimes you can have bad news after hours, and there's just nothing you can do about that. There are some risks. If you're going to hold overnight, you're not going to be a pure day trader, you're going to face those possibilities. So you have to keep that in mind. Don't second guess it, just deal with it. Try to manage your risk well. Don't place too much money into one single position, and be aware that if you take a short position that you can lose more than 100%. In this case, the longs were hit still pretty bad, not expecting that they were going to get down. They may be able to recover some of this if they haven't already exited in the pre-market or early in the session tomorrow. But a lot of them probably, if they could, probably exited along with the rest of the crowd once that after-hours bad news hit. But you can't predict everything. FVSTA, that was another play that we had that was well up, and then it went negative. Let me pull up this chart. FVSTA, and there we go. Just huge up. A couple of candles here. Not so ridiculously with multiple candles, but once it fell below that previous close, it was your signal to go short. Too hard to short here because it just isn't. It's a real cheap stock. And Solu, that was another one very similar. Started out real strong and then took it back out and started fading really nicely. I think maybe on a 2-day chart, if we pulled that up, let's see what that would look like. Solu. There it is. That stock was just too cheap. It was really going to be really hard to really short that. It could be done. It ran up significantly, and of course it fell like 42% today and got below the close. But very hard to actually really short something that's so cheap. Don't recommend it. Okay, so remember that. Try to have valid markers in place before you render a judgment or enter a play. Try to make sure that you are not trading discretionarily. And best of luck in all your trading. Okay, folks, we'll see you again next time in the trenches as you learn to trade with Big T.